did you think of Browns Eagles Sunday night? Eagles win 20, or not Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. Eagles win 20-16 in Philadelphia. Browns had the ball, driving, could have taken the lead. Keeps the game suspenseful. Watson's going to bring us back, and what happened? What did you see in that game? Any positives in that game?
I've just completely. People want to talk about the second half when he went 10 for 11 or whatever it was. Like,
yeah.
Okay, we still are shooting ourselves in the foot. It's still this kind of reminds me of the 2017 season, I believe, or 2018 season, where we had penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty, and then they got rid of Hugh, and then Come Get Some came in there, stuck his nuts in the C gap, and we started winning some games. So I don't see us making any kind of deal, obviously, to let go of Stefanski and promote Schwartz or anything like that. Like, I think they're going to see it through with these guys for the rest of the season. But it's just the same shit, man. Penalties, just an awful offense. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly that is. And, yeah, man, I've moved on to Cincinnati because the most positive thing that's going to happen likely this season.
So like Coach Belichick.
Right. Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. The most positive thing we're going to see thus far this season is going to be the return of Nick Chubb. That's got me gassed up, and it's coming at a perfect time for the Browns because they probably got their asses booed out the stadium coming out the tunnel this week, most likely. And the return of Chubb is going to help kind of smooth that over until we see bad football again, and then the Boo Birds are going to be out.
Well, I think they would have got booed directly out of their vehicles prior to the tunnel based on the performance that we've seen. Tavin, I know you're a Giants fan. For those that don't know, New York Giants fan. But
Browns are my
second. You mildly root for the Browns, right? They're your plan B. What did you see at the game that any positives to take from it to bring into the Cincinnati week?
Not really. Obviously, like Clarence said, just the same crap. Watson he showed signs of being all right, but he's just not. I mean, the O-line's obviously all banged up, and I don't know how that's going to affect Chubb coming back because you might get Chubb maybe more hurt with this O-line. So I really don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people were still kind of hopeful coming to this game, but I was already looking at mock drafts just coming into this week. But I mean, I kind of have been after the Giants and Daniel Jones beat the Browns. And if you lose to Daniel Jones, you're not off to a good start. So,
well, not only did we lose to Daniel Jones this year, and not only did the Bengals pass us in our own division, we are also in last place in the NFC East, being 0-4, losing to all four teams. Just to put a little, a little side jab to the Browns of what they're not doing this season. And the Eagles team that we watched, I mean, the coach Sirianni's getting all kinds of crap from the home fans.
Rightfully so.
I mean, I love kind of he gave it back to him. I know he since kind of apologized and kind of walked it back a little bit this week. But I love that. I love that little bit of spat back and forth. I do love Philly fans, though, too. I love the passion. Watching Philly playoff games with the Phillies and then also with the Eagles. But, yeah, that team that just don't, when we look at the NFC East and what the Browns faced, really, they're not even the best division either. I would say NFC Central is what probably looks the strongest. Do they not?
Who?
You mean the
South? NFC? Yeah, no, the NFC Central.
What would that mean?
I know they're the North, but I still like. I love the Central. You know why? Because the AFC Central is the last time the freaking Browns won the division in 1989.
This is true.
We could call it like Chris Berman, the NFC Norris division.
It's odd. It's odd that the Central back in the day was us, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and then somehow we had Houston. Like not anywhere geographically in the same area.
Yeah,
but
didn't make any sense.
They were in with us. I don't know. I'm at this point now where like some of the stats I've seen over this team in the first 6 games are just it's ridiculous. I believe it was on I think I was listening to KNR and some ridiculous stat that like 9% of their offensive plays have resulted in some kind of penalty. 9%.
Jeez.
Like how does that happen? They've had 1 TD in 29 possessions. I went and did my own little bit of research, and I went back and looked at I was like, you know what? This is giving me 2016, 2017, 1999, 90, 2000. It's giving me those vibes. So I just went back and looked at the 2016 Browns. Went 1-15 in their first 6 games. They scored 20 points in 4 out of those 6 games, which is this team that with much more talent, we can't even get anything close to that. And they had 4 200-yard passing games as well in those first 6 games. 1 by Josh McCown, and 3. Just take a guess who gave us 3 200-yard passing games.
Hold on.
Guess.
Brock Osweiler.
First 6 games. No.
I didn't. That was, she said, which season?
2016, 1-15.
Not okay. I was thinking. Oh, jeez.
Kaiser?
Don't tell me Ken Dorsey.
No.
Yeah, Kaiser was what? 17.
Kaiser was 17. Yeah.
I think he was the 7. I think he was a rookie in 17. Man,
Yeah,
I don't.
17.
Yeah, where's that quarterback graveyard?
Josh
I need that
McCown
list.
gave you one 200-yard game. This guy gave you 3. Cody mother flipping
Kessler.
Cody Kessler gave you 3. Yes, 3 200-yard games, topping out at a cool 336 versus the Titans. 336. It takes us 3 weeks to get 336 passing yards right now. It blows my mind. Like this is where we're at. Like this is where we're at as a team, as a franchise. This is not what I expected this year. I expected, some hardships for sure, but not having a piss poor offense. The media, I'm about done with. I've seen it already. Mary Kay Cabot was speaking to. They're going to keep playing Deshaun Watson. Or first off, she sent out a tweet, or she recorded a video, one of her video spots, where she basically said that that they want to see if Deshaun Watson can play functional football. What is functional football? I mean, seriously.
That's a great draft pick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna get you a good draft pick.
That's Jalen Milroe right there.
Right there. I mean,
yeah. I hope.
I'm not hating on him. But then she came back today and said that they're also going to keep playing him so they can see what they have in him. And I start thinking, and I'm like, and then she ran down the list of names of guys like, she started off, she said, you know what, Geno Smith, he bounced back. Sam Darnold, we thought he was dead, he bounced back. And then she threw out the one name that I was hoping she would not throw out. Baker Mayfield, he bounced back. So what are we doing here? Because it seems to me like by them saying that they have to see what he is, are they admitting that they didn't wait and see what the hell Baker was? Because they evaluated him with a busted-ass shoulder, a bum ankle, and everything else and decided he was not the guy. But this fully healthy QB that we have right now, who we paid a lot of money to come in and be the dude, we just expect him to play functional football, and we're going to make an evaluation on him this way. I'm struggling to figure out what the hell it is that we're doing or what we're trying to accomplish here, because we've heard it said enough. Heard it said a million times. We can't afford to waste another year of Miles. We can't afford to waste another year of Ward in his prime. We can't. Okay. So what the hell are we doing right now then? Because it seems to me like we traded, we didn't even talk about this. We traded Amari, who's our best wide receiver, regardless of what, he's had a shit year. Let's just be honest. But quite frankly, since 99, he's the only wide receiver we've had with consecutive good seasons, period. The list of wide receivers that we've had in Cleveland rivals the quarterback list. If anybody ever wants to really, really look at it, it's awful. It is terrible. It is no good. He's the best of the lot. Yes, he had a lot of drops. Yes, he's had a rough season, but we let go of him. So if you're getting rid of your number one wide receiver and you're going to go ahead and keep playing Watson, who you keep saying gives you the best chance of win, but you're not winning, then what are we trying to do here? I'm confused, because to me this looks like a tank job. You guys' thoughts? I don't know. I'm confused.
Tavin, what did you tell me off air before the show? What was your Brown stat?
So the 2016-17 Browns combined were 1-31. This year's record is 1-5. The points per game is about the same as that, 15.6 in 2016, 15.8 this year. The yards per game is where it gets interesting. 2016-17 Browns yards per game was 309.9. This year, 240. In 2016, the passing yards per game was 202. This year, 143. Keep in mind, you had Cooper this year. In 2016 team, Corey Coleman was your number one receiver.
Yep. You had Corey Coleman. That just the whole, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know what we're doing.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, TP.
Oh, I forgot all about him.
TPZ.
It's not even fair to number one wide receivers to call Coleman a number one wide receiver at any stretch of his career. Not even on a team that bad. We had probably 2s and 3s at best.
Yeah.
At best.
But this is the thing, like, okay, so we get rid of Cooper, and now we've got Judy and Moore, and now they're going to talk about playing these young guys. And okay. I saw, and I don't care what nobody has to say, I ain't no Baker bro or whatever, but I watched Baker Mayfield resurrect the career of Rashard Perryman in 2018 because he was on his way out the league. And I saw him give Rashard Higgins a little bit of a name by having a rapport with him and being able to find that dude open all the time. So now that we got rid of Coop, I expect to see something similar out of Watson. The waiting is over. It's obviously the penalties and the shit offense, and the defense is playing okay. And I'm not blaming Watson for everything, but we were told that Baker Mayfield needed everything to be perfect, and we needed to bring in a guy who, when things aren't perfect, he can kind of make up for the shortcomings of the team. Where are we at right now, man? Where are we at?
I mean, Baker had what? OBJ, Jarvis Landry, a super young Njoku.
That was in 2019.
The returning Nick Chubb, or young Nick Chubb, right?
Yep, that was in 2019. And
right.
He was throwing a Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, like I said, Rashard Perryman.
Antonio Callaway, was he on that team?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. And a second year in Njoku, I believe. Like, and again, this is not to try and bring Baker's name into this, but this is just about me as a Browns fan, keeping it a buck with everybody. If you play like ass, I'm going to call you on it, whether you were supposed to be great or not. Like everybody else, I thought that Watson was going to be an upgrade. I thought he was.
At the time, with that trade, yes.
Yeah. Clearly he's not. So I'm not going to sit around and be like, oh, just wait. oh, just wait. No, you're playing like ass. He's playing like ass. So if he, this kind of takes me back to when Baker was playing injured, and we were all like, why don't they play Keenum, man? Let him get a rest. Let him get a rest. Like they see Keenum at practice every day. He must really be shit. And then he came in and beat Denver. So like, now we're in the same boat where it's like, man, maybe give Watson a rest. Sit him down for a second. Play. This is why you pay with. This is why you pay famous Jameis. Let him get some tick. Nah, I'm not going to let him get any tick either. So I just need one of you two guys to tell me what the plan is right now, because it doesn't seem to be to win football games.
Well, I mean, I think playing Winston's, it's not the move because, right, like you said, if he goes in like Keenum and starts winning games, you're kind of gonna throw away that number one pick you have because you're obviously not going to really go anywhere with this team. So I think the only way is to kind of start from scratch and take a quarterback in that first number one pick, and then next year compete. And I think Winston's kind of going to mess that up. Obviously, he's a better choice. I went to the week 3 game against the Giants, and I want to say right after halftime, Watson, I think, got sacked or something, and the entire stadium started chanting Jameis Winston. So everybody wants Winston, but I don't think it's the move for the kind of tank scheme that we're kind of in right now.
So you think we're
tanking? Yeah, I know.
You think we're tanking?
Yeah, I do. I mean, your schedule's tough the rest of the way, and I think the only kind of game that has a win written on it is the Denver one, and that's at Denver. So that's going to be a tough one too. I just don't think you have enough to hang with these teams, and I think you just got to go tank and get Shador and Milrow.
I will be in Denver for that game, so thank you for putting that good juju in the air.
That's the one.
There'll be a lot of good things in the air in Denver. And I don't know if Juju's going to be one of them.
What do you think, man? Like, do you feel like they're tanking?
I think they're close. I think the trade of Amari Cooper to Buffalo is something that was already brewing anyways because of when his name got thrown into Ayuk trade. It was tough to come back when it was a contract year for him. And you have a quarterback in Deshaun Watson whose two most consistent receivers that he can hit on any given Sunday are Joe Sideline and Joe Blade of Grass. So he's either airing the ball over their damn head or he's throwing it too low. Those are the two things that he can actually throw consistently to, because it's sure as hell in our wide receivers. And as far as tanking goes, you cannot in that building sell that team on a tank when you're bringing back the quality human of Nick Chubb that he is going to bring. He literally brings the accountability and leadership just by his display of who he is, how the work that he puts on in off the field, and how he performs on the field. That is an automatic sit up in your seat, give attention to him type player that should help boost this team against the Bengals team, Tavin, that went in against your Giants. And the Giants defense looked really good against Cleveland, played well against the Bengals, but unfortunately you guys couldn't get any offense. Bengals win. They only scored 17 points against that Giants team. So there's a chance not only that we can break 20, but our defense will show up again. Keep it a manageable game to where we can finally, like Clarence, we talked about before the season started, we were hoping Deshaun could just play average to good football. Of course, if he would have been all pro level, everybody would have taken that and everybody be happy. But that's not the case. But my thing is, I think Chubb is going to lift this team enough that we're going to get the win Sunday against Cincinnati, and because of Stefanski's record against the Bengals as well, even though that offense that they have is dangerous.
I feel like we still own Burrow's ass. I feel like we still own his ass, and maybe the return of Nick Chubb is going to give the team just enough energy to get by. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping, obviously, the Browns play a little bit better as a whole. I read that letter today from Nick Chubb in the Players Tribune. Man, somebody was cutting onions up in my house when I was reading that. It was, it was wild in here. But that was right there. Like that right there is what I want in every single Cleveland athlete. Like he's riding for the city because the city rides for him. So maybe all this stuff together will maybe help lead to something. I just and you know what? Here's the thing I was thinking about too. They might not be tanking intentionally, but with that schedule, they might not have a choice.
That's what I was about to say. Do you really want to beat the Bengals?
Yes, I do want to beat them. Yeah. And I want to beat the Steelers once, and I want to beat the Ravens once, and then we can lose everything else.
I'd rather see Jameis Winston come off the bench and give us our Flacco moment for this season. Because I was listening on the radio on the way home from work. Winston could throw you 6 touchdowns, and yeah, sure, you might have 3 picks too, but at least we're getting the end zone. At least we're putting up some points. The defense themselves deserve to have somebody that can put some points on the. Wondering if they're just doing Nick Chubb this week because that's a like boost A, if you will, especially after trading your number 1 wide receiver. And potentially that boost B is that Winston does actually start playing, because if not, Watson's going to kill our coach. You know, Clarence, I know you heard me talking early in the season. I kept dropping those hints and I kept throwing Belichick's name out there. And that even though Stefanski's been coach of the year twice now, that, man, this can turn quick, and it sure as shit has turned quick. Back to Factory of Sadness type times down by the lakefront. And none of us want to go back there. I don't want to tank. I don't want to see more losing. Myles Garrett deserves better. Denzel Ward deserves better. Any guy in that locker room that busts their ass and is committed to the team and that culture that we thought we had from last year, and maybe it's still there, but we just can't, it doesn't show on the scoreboard. It definitely, the body language on the field looks ugly. But the defense is trying, and I do not want to see them get any more burnout than they are from an offense that can't hit 20 yet. And thankfully, we have some of the points we did thanks to McLeod. Isn't he our leading scorer now with 2 touchdowns? And he's on defense? Not even a starter?
I just don't like. He's our leading scorer. Like I should have drafted him. I'm in an offense-only fantasy league. I should have just lobbied to draft him because he's been the only Brown to get me any flipping points. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not sure how we got here. I'm not saying the franchise is cursed, but what I will say is that, like, if bad shit can happen, it's going to happen to the Browns. Like, Kev, you're right. They're going to boo 4. They're going to boo 4. Their best bet, their very best bet would be to have Deshaun run out holding Nick Chubb's hand. So that way, he can't get booed.
No, he better wear a Chubb jersey.
Yeah.
They better walk out arm in arm.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for joining us tonight. Yeah, it's tough. Well, Tavin, Clarence and I are the old school Browns fans. You're younger than we are by just a few years anyways. But, you know, I don't know about Clarence. I can speak to saying that I was actually in attendance for the Browns-Jets January 1987 game, double overtime victory. So I've been to a home Browns playoff game. That was a winner, and also the game against Buffalo that was also a winner, both at the old stadium. What is some of your friends saying? What's you new school guys? What do you that haven't seen anything really of relevance other than the win in Pittsburgh? Where is your age group? Where's everybody's head at?
So everybody's head's not with the Browns, which it's funny. I mean, all my friends just, I mean, and it's a big reason because they've sucked while we were growing up, but not a lot of my friends are Browns fans. I mean, You got Patriots, Dolphins, literally any other fan base that you could possibly think of. Bills fans. Yeah.
Thank you, NFL ticket. Thank you, fantasy football. Thank you, gambling. Hopefully nobody's out there gambling. None of your young friends.
It's more so that they follow like certain players and are attracted to that team. But the vast minority of Browns fans that there is, like around my age, there's two things. Nobody likes Watson, and people are fed up with Stefanski. And I agree with both of them. I mean, Watson obviously hasn't been the guy you traded 3 first-round picks for. And Stefanski, I know a lot of people back him because he won Coach of the Year twice, but I don't see it with him. I think you need a restart in the head coach position.
There is some credit I want to take away from Stefanski, and number one, it's this. He gets credit for the win in Pittsburgh for that playoff game.
Right.
I absolutely disagree with that because he was out with COVID. Now, that's not his fault. However, he's not on the sideline. I still don't get that when people say he's got a playoff victory. And to me, unless he was hiding somewhere on that sideline, pick up some turf and find him in a foxhole, he wasn't over there.
Who was that? Was that Chris Tabor?
What was the name? I think you were right. The special
Chris Tabor.
Yeah, Tabor or something. Yeah.
I think that's who was on the sidelines.
Now Pittsburgh helped us that night by snapping the ball over Big Ben's head on the first play for a Browns touchdown. So, that was a great start. So, but yeah, Stefanski.
Going along with that.
Go ahead, David.
I mean, Coach of the Year. I don't really. Let's not kid ourselves. It was Schwartz that was a big part in that. I mean, I know you had everybody on the roster go down last year, and he did a good job at managing the offense. But I think it was Schwartz that really carried him to that Coach of the Year. So,
Prefer? All right. Kev says Mike Prefer.
Kevin playing the role of stat boy tonight.
Right.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Tony Reale.
Yes.
I'm just still bugging that, like Tavin said, anybody else but the Browns, that's who his friends like. And it just blows my mind because, as a kid, me coming up, you see the drive, you see the fumble, you see 3 AFC championship games in 4 years, and you just kind of build on that. And even before that, you have the cardiac kids with Sipe and those guys. So you're seeing good football, but I can only imagine if all you've seen since '99 is this shit product. Why would you like this team? Why would you go out and support this team? Like I feel like an asshole sometimes for supporting them myself, but I'm stuck with these dudes now. So like I get it, and I do get the new generation too. They follow players more than they follow teams. I've noticed that a lot,
which I don't get.
It's weird to me. Yeah, it's weird to me. I'm looking at the guy. I call me old school, get off my lawn, but I'm looking at the name on the front, not the back. But yeah, like why would you like? So I let my son. We'll watch games together, and we watched a lot of games last year and the season before, and he's just kind of like, or the season before, he's just kind of like, because they were losing, and so he wasn't real interested. So then he's like, he gets on Madden. He want to use Baltimore Ravens because they got Lamar Jackson, and he wants to use the Kansas City Chiefs because they got Mahomes. And I'm like,
great point. Video games and Madden. You're right.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, like, even when the Browns were bad when I was younger, I'd at least take them and then start a franchise with them and then try and rebuild them to make them good again.
Yeah,
got no interest in that shit whatsoever. None.
Well, at least we got Nick Chubb coming back this week to provide that spark to the team. Like I said, I think somehow, some way, they're going to find a way to win. Cooper's out of the building. Production lost. But if you look at what he's produced this year, just hasn't been there. But then again, when you have an offensive line that's declined, you have the quarterback play that you have, and then you have the lack of a running game. And that's just a perfect storm for basically our point totals every Sunday. So hopefully Nick can at least provide some balance, maybe some good play action plays. Maybe that's going to help Deshaun this week. As Browns fans, it's tough, man, because it's a broken record. We've seen this story before too many times. I'm hoping somehow, some way, we can bounce back a little bit. And I still think Jameis Winston, man, we got to get him in the game. I know that some people want to see DTR and they want to see his development. Is he a guy that's a serious contender to be one of our top quarterbacks going even into next year, with Jameis Winston being on this 1-year contract?
James, they put Jameis in the game. They let him run them damn sneaks and all them silly ass trick plays.
You might as well, hell, you could have kept Harrison Bryant for that.
Oh, I'll never understand it. This is part of the whole Stefanski shit. I'll never understand it.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jacoby Brissett out there. Not once did we see DTR, who's a little bit more mobile and quick. Not once did we see him out there running on a scramble or nothing like that. And then we bring Winston back in game 11 or game 12 or whatever it is, and they still bring in Jacoby to do the quarterback sneaks and everything. Now, I get it, but it's like you got mobile guys, and you're still bringing this dude in no matter what. And they're doing the same kind of thing with Jameis now. Like, I understand they don't want to get old boy hit, and I can dig it, but I just don't know what we're doing, where we're going. All I know is I'm gonna wake up on Sunday, hungover because I'm going hard Saturday night. I'll watch these boys, and they better show up. They better show for the sake of Nick Chubb. They better show up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, after baseball season, the only hope we kind of have is Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we'll get into some Cavs more next week. I know they've got a preseason game tonight. Season starts next week. So I'm looking forward to Cavs season starting, but I still want to continue to talk some guards. I want to have some positive moments with the Browns. The one thing I keep thinking about is if I could hit the reset button on the Browns season, what would the quarterback room look like? I think many of us wanted Flacco back. Flacco wanted to be back. I think he would have been somebody that would have could have helped Deshaun if Deshaun was willing to work with him. But I also think he would have been a great mentor for DTR's development to help him. I don't see, other than locker room division, why that would not have worked. Because I really think we needed that balance, because the team knew it. The team knew that the play was going to decline at the quarterback position, bringing Deshaun back and being the starter. I mean, I wish somehow, some way, Flacco could at least been able to compete with him, but it's all about that contract. It's more about the business side than it is the football side and the performance side.
Amari, James. I don't think they thought. I think they really thought they were going to slide him in, and everything was just going to be smooth. Now, we talked at the beginning of the season. I was like, I feel like it's going to take him a game or two to get right. I didn't think it'd take 6. But I think they thought that he was going to come back in and do his thing after a few games. And I tend to agree with you, both of you guys. Like, I feel like half the reason they're not playing Jameis, kind of like we said, is because Jameis' style is more Flacco than it is Watson. And Jameis get on that field and start slinging that thing around. And like you said, he might toss you three picks, but he might toss you six touchdowns too, 5 touchdowns. So,
which makes the team watchable,
yes,
right?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Even with Flacco's picks last year, the team was watchable. The defense had hope that there was going to be points put on the scoreboard.
Got it, James.
No, you're good. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if Winston goes in and looks good, it makes, I think, the front office and everybody involved look even more dumb for the Watson signing. And I think that's a big reason why they don't, go out and play him. I think you had an excuse last year when he was hurt to play Flacco, and if Flacco looked good, it's kind of a plug-in guy. But I think that's another big reason why he didn't bring him back. It's going to make Watson's confidence go down. I mean, not like that really matters anymore, but kind of just makes the front office look dumb.
Yeah, and James, you're right. It does. It makes them more watchable. Do you know, like these last few games, at halftime, I'm like, man, let me go ahead and take like a 15-minute nap, and I'll pause this bad boy, and I'll pause this game. I'll take a 15, 20-minute nap, and then I can just kind of fast forward because I'm not interested in watching this bullshit really anyway. But you're right. It's unwatchable. It is unwatchable. It is awful. Again, like this Sunday is outside of the opener. This is probably the game I've looked forward to the most this year. Is him coming back. I can't think of anything else. Like, you know.
No, you're right. You're right. That's definitely fair. You know, you and I have made many trips. You more recent than me. I haven't been to a game now for a couple of years, but you know, when they came back in '99, I went to many games. I went to when we were bad, and you know, it's end of December and it's cold as hell, and nobody wanted the tickets. Showed up at the game and would cheer on this team. So I just hope for all the fans out there that are season ticket holders that have already invested their money in this team and their time on their weekends off, that they get some sort of satisfaction by going down to the stadium, not just the camaraderie of being at the Muni lot or now of the West 6th. They closed that down now. You can't have any damn fun over there. But there's places that you know these fans, us Browns fans, that are well more invested financially and with their money and time. I just want them, and they spend the money on the jerseys and the hats and the new damn dog logo from that was created last year that I still haven't bought any apparel of, by the way. You know, I'm very cautious and very distant as far as what I'm dedicating now to this team. But this Sunday, you're right. With Chubb returning, this is definitely the game that I think we need to be invested in as fans. We owe it to Nick Chubb for the class act that he is, for the great letter that he not only wrote about the city, but also the organization. We do have at least something to look forward to this Sunday. And I don't know how many more Sundays we're going to be able to say that.
It's not looking good. Like I said, I'll be in Denver, which I hope is not our next win, but it very well could be. But yeah, I'm all about this weekend. I'm all about this Sunday. Chubb is that dude. He deserves our support. He deserves us to go down there and cheer our asses off. Keep the boos down. Actually, I'm not going to tell you how to fan. If you want to boo their asses. I don't care. But when Chubb is on,
that's right. It's your money.
That's right. When 24 is out there, though, be loud, be vocal, be rowdy. That dude he actually gives a shit about us, so we should give a shit about him. That's all I got to say.
You know, I'm going to say one more thing, and then Tavin, I want you to have some closing statements here. What are we in court? For Nick Chubb, they sure as hell better give him the damn ball more than 8 or 10 carries. Yeah. Don't shortchange us, Stefanski. Don't do that to us, please. We want to see the guy. And I know he's back, and I know you want to play Jerome Ford some out there too, and sneak Pierre Strong out there and Deontay Foreman, and make sure everybody gets some playing time and gets their participation ribbons. But give Nick Chubb the damn ball. Give him as much as he's willing to take it.
Whoa.
Tavin, close us out here for the night.
Yeah, you just got to feed Chubb. I mean, obviously, you hope he doesn't get injured with that offensive line, but I mean, that's really the only kind of interesting part of the season. I mean, it's kind of already done. You're 1-5. You have the worst record in the league, so obviously that's the only bright spot kind of in this team. So